What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to bring you a quick rundown on all the different elixirs that you can unlock within the game that drop, well, at least the formulas drop. You learn them from all the different deviants that you capture. As it stands in the beta, there's currently 11 elixirs that you can learn and craft. One of them is bugged, and I'll go over that in a minute. Two of them you get from the butterfly, and the rest are from each individual deviant that you capture as you go along. I found several places that I think will be great to test these out. The first place I think is a good one because we can kind of show off probably a good chunk of them right from this area, is the Gaia Monolith, where you fight the Treant boss. So without any further ado, let's start showing them off. And I think I'm going to start with my favorite. In my opinion, it is the most overpowered elixir in the game, and that is the Weaver Potion. You get this from the Dream Catcher. So let's go ahead and activate this one. Yeah, that's all that one does. You just drink it. It doesn't really help your thirst either. Yeah, about that. So the Weaver Elixir is currently, I don't know if it's bugged or they just don't have it activated in the beta, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't give you any bonus buff. Normally you can see the number next to your sanity bar here, and it will describe what the elixir does. You activate it, it doesn't do anything. If you read the tooltip before I drank it, it says, what else can it catch? So there's theories that when it does finally drop, it might have something to do with fishing, or I have a theory even where it could be fishing or animals, because in the original official media footage that they released for Once Human in the previous first beta, and some of the background dev testing they did, they showed off things like aquariums and potentially cages. So I'm wondering if you can use that early on to capture animals and keep them as pets and stuff and put them in an aquarium. So that's a theory. Another theory is that what I thought it might have been, because the only thing I've seen similar to that web kind of design is the spiderweb tethers that the drone enemies, like the Rosetta drones, do, where it can kind of lock you down in place and slow you down. So maybe it'll be an offensive elixir, but unfortunately, as of right now, we don't know. The elixir literally does nothing. So wanted to get that one out the way. So don't bother. I mean, you can craft them, but it won't do anything. So the Weaver Potion is null and void. Let's be done with it and move on here. So right out the gate, let's do one. Let's do the Spring Legs. You get this from the Hungry Hopper. A good way to demonstrate this one off is if I'm here and I want to jump over the railing, and you notice that I have to mantle. But what the Spring Legs does is it actually gives us a higher jump. So if I go ahead and activate it, says here, we'll activate it. And the other thing to keep in mind is when you activate an elixir, when it works properly, see how this little number 1 popped up? If you hover over it, you can see not only the name of the elixir that has been activated, but the remaining duration that the elixir has remaining. Every one of these elixirs lasts for an hour and 120 minutes rather, which is 2 hours. You can also left click and see an in-depth description of what that elixir does. So jump higher, but at an additional stamina cost. So it does reduce your stamina a little bit more when you jump. However, as you can see, we get a way higher jump. You no longer have to mantle, and you can just get places a little bit more easily. So that is what Spring Legs does. It just, see, your stamina depletes really quick. Once your stamina runs out, and this will come into play on some of the other elixirs as well that are stamina based. Keep an eye on that. But yeah, simply put, it just gives you a higher jump so you can get over obstacles more easily. Moving on. Next up, we have, let's do the Aero Leap. This one you get from the Biogel. That's a formula you learn from Biogel, so you can get this very early on. We'll go ahead and activate this one. And now let's hover over the tooltip. Now you see it has a number 2 because we have 2 of them active. And it says for Aero Leap, press roll while jumping to dash forward at a stamina cost. So what this does is it basically gives you a better dash. Normally you would just kind of roll, but if you jump and roll, Now you do this cool little teleport. Oh, and of course, welcome to the beta. We may have to come back to you shortly after this brief marketing message. Hey, we're back. Magic. Welcome to the beta. Shit happens. So we're back here. So as I was demonstrating, sorry about that, I just randomly crashed. Yeah, your normal dodge is just a roll, but when you have Aero Leap active, it now, if you jump and dodge, gives you this cool teleportation. Now, some things to keep in mind with this that I found out is that you can control the direction for very fast directional control. So whatever key on the keyboard for direction that you're hitting when you jump and activate this ability, it'll instantly go in that direction. So if you jump and go left, you can jump and go right, and vice versa. You can go straight backwards. And so it's a very easy way to dodge out of danger very quickly. Can come in handy early on, and like I said, you get this from the bile gel, so a handy little elixir. Not totally necessary, but it is kind of neat, and it helps for traversing terrain and ducking in and out of combat a little bit more easily. Moving on, what's another one that's mobility wise that we can activate here? We can do, let's do wings, why not? This is one of my go-to elixirs. You craft this formula from the butterfly, so you can get this very early in the game. And this is the main reason why I came to the Gaia base, because I'm going to show you a little secret chest here at the same time. If we hover over the tooltip, it says for wings, press jump again while in midair to glide. Keep in mind that gliding consumes stamina. So what we're going to do is, if you didn't know, at the Gaia monolith, there is actually a mysterious chest on the roof of one of these buildings. It has the blue sniper rifle, the early game sniper rifle blueprints in it, and it is a full 60 stack. So you will automatically unlock the sniper when you get this. But like it said in the tooltip, what you do is you just run and jump. And then once you jump for the first time, immediately press and hold jump a second time, and that'll activate the glider. So let's demonstrate it here. So run and jump, hit it again. And there you go. Your little V friend pops out, and you can glide from higher areas down to lower areas, and you won't have to worry about taking fall damage. So that is how that one works. I have already opened this chest, so it's not here, but hey, there you go. Little mini guide within a guide. There you go. So there's the location of the sniper rifle, blue sniper rifle, and that is how V works. Almost went off the building because of a jump. So it's basically just a double jump. You want to jump once, and then in midair, click it again, and hold on the second one, and that'll activate the glide. Now from here, I think the perfect one to activate next would be the Pounding Heart. Now this one is the formula that you unlock from the time ticker, which you get from the Treant boss, the second boss, so you can also get this one pretty early on. So let's go and activate this one. Go to the tooltip, and what it says for Pounding Heart is pressing crouch while jumping in the air will perform a plunging attack on enemies at a stamina cost. One thing it doesn't mention is that it also negates fall damage. So if you don't have wings, but you have this, you can get from a high area to a low area and not have to worry about breaking your legs. But I figured this would be a good example because I knew that there was enemies right below us. So all you got to do is jump and hit the crouch button in midair and watch what happens. So barely did anything. You could also do it on the ground. It's kind of just a knockback. So it doesn't do a ton of damage, but yeah, it basically is just a knockback. So you can surprise enemies from a higher ground and pound into the ground. And as you saw, we didn't take fall damage, and you definitely would have taken fall damage and hurt your ankles from that height. So yeah, you can just jump off, slam down, pound into the ground, and yeah, knock enemies back. It stuns them temporarily and kind of gives you a quick little combat advantage. I could see how it might be useful in PvP as well, potentially. It's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to loot this body, but forget it. We don't even need it. But yeah, that is the Pounding Heart. What else we got here? let's do Predator. So Predator, much like its name, I mentioned this in the previous video, gives you a cloaking mechanism over your body. I have put in feedback because I'm not a big fan of how it looks. But before we check it out, let's check out the details. So this can come in handy both in PvP and PvE. Enter a stealthy state and slip past enemies with ease. So if you're crouching, want to get up close for like a backstab, this can come in handy. But the big thing is the first shot in the stealthy state is guaranteed to deal a critical hit, whether it's a headshot or not. You exit the state after your first shot or when being spotted by enemies, and then you re-enter the stealthy cloak state after exiting combat for 60 seconds. So personally, I think that the feedback that I gave them is I think 60 seconds is a little too long. I think it should be maybe like 30 seconds. So that way you can utilize it more frequently. I could clear a whole base in 2 minutes. So it would be nice to get a quick crit off on like an elite, duck out, kill a couple guys, run off, wait a little bit, go cloaked again, get another crit shot. But we can show this off with, say, the sniper rifle. So that is why I brought that. And as you can see, we are now cloaked like the Predator. You do have this red glow, and I did test it with a buddy of mine to see what the look of this elixir was like from their perspective, and sure enough, it's exactly the same, which is why I put the feedback in to potentially remove the red glow effect, because at certain angles you can't really see it, but when you're looking dead on, you can see that red glow pretty easily, even when you're cloaked as a secondary player or like another human player, like if you're using this for PvP. So I don't think it's very useful. Like I feel like you'd get spotted pretty easily unless you're like really far away. So I left the feedback for them to potentially keep this like anomaly looking cloak, but remove the red glow so that you can still see them if they're up close, which makes sense, but you're not like immediately spotted because of this red glowing like aura in your body as well. Because you're with that looking dead on, you might as well be solid in my opinion. It's a little too bright still. But let's show off the ability. And what we can do is we won't even shoot them in the head. But theoretically, if this works, this should be a guaranteed crit. And there you go. So it critted, one-shotted, 24-22 damage. Orange, by the way, is representing that it's a critical hit. If it's red damage, that means you're hitting a weak spot. So that was a critical hit. Normally a body shot wouldn't be a critical hit. So it worked. And as you can see, we are no longer in stealth. So now if we wanted to go back in stealth, we would have to wait 60 seconds and then it would automatically go back to the cloaking ability side of it. And then you would just swap in and out. So really, I don't really know what other weapons other than maybe a crossbow or a heavy hitting sniper could really take advantage of this in PvE and PvP, because your other weapons are going to fire multiple bullets and each individual bullet isn't that powerful on its own. So you really want to do it on loadouts where you have a hard hitting single shot weapon would be my recommendation. But yeah, still a handy one, and I think that if they revamp the look of it and reduce that red glow, that it could be a pretty viable elixir for PvP as well. I can just picture stealthily sneaking up to an enemy's base, there you go, and getting some crit shots on a human and maybe one-shotting them if you get a lucky headshot, something like that, while this is activated, because it guarantees a crit. So might make it a little bit more viable, but who knows. Things change in the beta, and once it comes in the final game, we'll see what they do, but it is what it is. That's why we put in our feedback. So that is the Predator potion. Next up, we have the Utter Delight. I think we can do that one. So let's go ahead and pop that. And what that one says is sanity depletion rate is minus 35% when in heavily polluted areas. And I think a good way to show that off, if I get rid of this thing right quick, is to teleport up to... I actually haven't tested this. I probably should have tested it out, but it should work. Oh, let me go back to the base first. I'll probably cut right here. Make it a little quicker. All right, so to show off this, what I think would be a good one is I know this particular area, the little town of Blackfell Fallen Zone, right outside of the Blackfell base. Has some pretty hefty sanity checks. Your sanity pretty much increases instantly just by running through this place. So now that we have that potion activated, let's start running through here. And you should see that normally it would fill up really fast. But as we enter this contaminated zone, and actually now that we have Predator, these guys shouldn't even notice me running around, which is be nice. If we're making enough noise, they will. Stardust pollution is getting worse. So see, pollution's starting to increase. And see how it only gets to about like a 5th or 6th, basically up to that first yellow tick on my health bar. Normally, without that, you'd be up to like the 2nd tick of your health bar. So it definitely reduces the amount of sanity that you retain in high pollution areas. And it also makes it go a little bit slower when it's decreasing as well. So your buildup will be slower, and it reduces the maximum amount of buildup that you can get, which is nice. I know some areas are even more polluted than this one, and can get really, really high to the point where like half your health bar is sanity within a matter of seconds. So if you know that you're coming up to one of those areas, be sure to pop that Utter Delight potion, and that will definitely help mitigate a lot of the sanity issues. You won't have to worry about burning through your sanity gummies or your beverages to reduce your sanity constantly. Having that one potion will basically give you that buff to your sanity generation for 2 hours, which is pretty nice. Moving on, what other ones we got here? So we have Featherweight. So I think what I'll do is Featherweight, the Chrysalis Elixir, and Regeneration I'll do at the Theta Silo. So let me cut right here real quick, and then I'm going to jump over to that, and we'll see you guys in a second. All right, so we're outside the Theta Securement Silo. This is actually a really good place to farm energy, so much so that I think I'm going to be making a guide just for this silo alone as another great place. I know you guys probably saw my best farming guide for acid, meds, and energy. If you're late game, this is a really great spot, so I might make a late game video for this one as well. But besides the point, it's also a great place to test some different elixirs. So the next one I think we'll do is the Chrysalis Elixir. Let's go ahead and activate that. And what that one says is when HP falls below 20%, create a shield equal to 15% of your own HP, lasting 5 seconds with a 600-second cooldown. So it's basically a free health shield anytime your health gets low. So let's just go let ourselves get beat up, I guess, for a minute. Should be guys right down here. And we'll just let them attack us. Give you guys an idea of how that shield works. Come on. This is the only time I'm ever going to let you do this. There we go. So there's the shield. And it gave us a little bit of health back. Not much, but it did create a shield. But now I have to take you guys out. So give me a second. Let me clear these guys. All right. So as you saw there, we got a little shield. If we go here, it says it's in cooldown. So you get the little buff. The cooldown happens after, what was it, 300 seconds, I think it says. Or 600 seconds rather, the shield will count back in, and you can also see it when we hover over it, the duration, like I was mentioning. So yeah, that is the Chrysalis Elixir. That double hit pretty much would have killed me, but it gave me a nice little chunk of health, kept me in the red, and then basically prevented me from dying. It only lasts 5 seconds, which is why I needed to run out of there. But that is how the Chrysalis Elixir works. The other one I think will be good to show off here And since we're already in the red, might as well show that one off while we're here. Is the one you get from the glass jellyfish. And the Chrysalis Elixir, sorry, I forgot to mention, you also get from the butterfly. That one and the wings potion you get from the butterfly. The Regeneration Elixir is a great one. This one you get from the glass jellyfish deviant. You unlock it there. If we hover over that, that one says, upon blackout, you respawn on the spot with 10% HP restored and damage dealt reduced by 10%. The effect has a 1,800 second cooldown, so you do get multiple ticks of this by the time it runs out, which is nice. So let's go and do that. We're already kind of in the red, so we can have any zombie hit us, and you'll see how that one works. This time you guys will actually be able to take me down. Enjoy it while it lasts. So there we go. Bingo. And then you just instantly spawn back up. And you're good to go. So he killed me. And we just instantly respawn with 10% of our health. And didn't have to use an adrenaline shot, which is nice. Which is also a priceless commodity in late game raids because you're limited to only 3 revives, which is pretty rough when you're just starting out in a lower level. I'm tired of this red screen, so I'm going to pop a med here. But yeah, that is how the Regeneration Elixir works. The animation is kind of wonky right now. As you saw, you kind of like teleport and then, I mean, yeah, it does say respawn, so I guess it is what it is, but I feel like they could refine that a little bit. But yeah, you get knocked, long story short, and you just instantly pop back up with 10% health and keep on ticking. Next up, we have the Featherweight potion and the High Voltage potion. The Featherweight potion increases your max carry capacity. So what I will do is I think I'm going to quickly run through. I'm going to cut right here. I'll run through and do maybe 1 or 2 runs of this silo, collect all the junk to the point where you can see that I'm full. Actually, you know what? I have a faster way. All right, so with the power of editing, we are back. We are now at our base. I figured this would be a little bit easier and quicker. Instead of farming the silo for a bunch of junk, I can just pick up a ton of stuff from my storage and make myself overweight immediately instead of having to waste time. So I think ammo is pretty heavy. We can just grab a bunch of this. There we go. So we're overweight now. We are at 125% capacity, but the next potion I want to show off is the Featherweight potion. You get this from the Pup Buddy, a great elixir to use, especially late game when you're doing extended farming sessions where you want to just farm up a ton of materials and junk and things like that and don't want to have to keep going back to your base and worrying about weight. And what this does, if we activate it, go to the tooltip, max load plus 50. So as you can see, we are no longer overweight, which is nice. And we can run unhindered and add 50 more %. It brought from 125 over down to 56. So it was almost a 100% change in load capacity. We're about 20-30 off. So about 75 to 80% wise, not talking about numbers, but just percent wise of the total load. And as you can see, we've got a ton, thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo in here. So this is also helpful if you're a lower level for the LEA Research Labs raid, because you want to bring like 10 to 12,000 rounds if you're lower level, because those fights can go on for a really long time and ammo is very heavy. So you don't want to be mid-raid and all of a sudden super weighed down and have to worry about eating a ton of food. And that was with me at 0 energy right now. So you can see how well it works. If you were at full energy, you'd be able to carry a ton of stuff because the more energy you have, the higher your carry capacity is as well. So it's actually worked out nicely that I was at 0 energy right now. But yeah, according to the tooltip, it is plus 50 to your max load, but percentage wise, it's about 80 to 90% increase for what you can carry even at 0 energy. So super, can't speak today, helpful elixir. It's one that I use constantly for my late game farming runs, so definitely keep that in mind. Last but not least, we have the, I already popped it actually when we were in the silo, the high voltage elixir. This one you get from the electric eel, and in my opinion, it's kind of useless unless you're in a stronghold that's outdoors. I'll go over to the synthesis bench because I already popped one just so you can see what it looks like. It's the one that looks like it has a little battery here. So it says you gain the ability to channel electricity. You can now electrocute and paralyze enemies when engaging them in melee combat during a thunderstorm. Initially, I misread this and thought that it was just paralyzing an enemy anytime you melee them, but you're just more susceptible to lightning strikes. But supposedly, I mean, it's not supposedly, it's how it is. It only activates and works if you're meleeing enemies during a thunderstorm. So you can stun enemies and electrocute them more frequently when you have that activated, but it can only be done outdoors while it's raining, and while you're using it, you have a higher chance of being electrocuted. So it's a very finicky, very weird potion. I feel like they should change it, in my opinion, to where you're not limited to only using it outdoors while it's raining, because that's like 1/5 of the weather types that you can run into in this game. So the odds of you like needing it right at that exact moment are pretty slim. And the fact that melee isn't really used that much as it is, you're likely to never use this potion at all, in my opinion. But hey, that's what it does in the beta. I'll probably leave some feedback on it to make it hopefully a little bit more useful at launch, and hopefully they listen. Devs, check those feedback notes. We got dozens of them. But yeah, that is pretty much all of the elixirs. One of them doesn't work, the Weaver, like I mentioned, the very first one. I'm assuming it'll be fixed for the final launch and maybe in the next quarter 2 beta that they drop. But for now, it doesn't do anything. And then last but not least, the electric eel. It's kind of a bum one too. I don't use that one too often, but big ones that you kind of want to have activated as much as possible, at least the deviants that produce them, so you can get that deviant power going so you can constantly be crafting them, is the wings potion, because gliding is super handy. A lot of hard to reach places, secret chests, the final raid, the LEA research labs, you use it a lot. It's pretty much mandatory for that raid. So the wings potion, the regeneration and Chrysalis Elixir are both good for the raid, and just harder strongholds as well, because it gives you basically a get out of jail free card and some extra health shields. Predator has the potential to be pretty good, but until they revamp this little color aura, in my opinion, and or decrease the timer that it takes for you to go back into cloaking after firing that first bullet, it's not really that useful, in my opinion, right now. But if they fix that, I could see it being really useful, especially in PvP. And then last but not least, depending on the zone you're in, the high polluted zones, for example, that Utter Delight elixir can come in really handy, because you won't have to worry about your sanity taking up half your health bar, which can be really annoying at times, especially mid-game, when you don't have the ability to craft some of the higher level food items and like sanity gummies and things like that. If you don't have like meads and ales to drink, taking care of your sanity other than sleeping in your own bed at your base can be really annoying when you're in the middle of a fight. So those are the few potions I recommend keeping up and available as much as possible. The other ones, hopefully they get adjusted a little bit, but yeah, that is pretty much every elixir in the beta right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate, again, all the amazing support that you guys have been giving over the last few weeks. The videos have been blowing up on the channel, and I've been having a ton of fun making the guides for you guys. I'm just glad that they're being put to good use. But until the next one, keep an eye out for the max level base tour. A lot of you have been asking for a tour of the final crib, so I have a fun little gimmick that I'm going to be doing for that one. That's why it's taking a little bit longer, but we built some really cool stuff, and I have a little surprise for that video, so keep an eye out for that one. And whatever other guides I decide to make. I think I mentioned a fishing guide potentially, so I want to try and get at least probably 3, 4, maybe 5 more guides out before this beta ends. I know we only have like a week or 2 left, so hang in there. keep in touch for the next one. If you guys have any feedback or have any ideas for guides that you want to see me make in the future, feel free to comment down in the comment section below and let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Until the next one, you guys, I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all later.